Meet Lucy, a young woman caught in the middle of what should have been an ordinary day. She's standing on a busy sidewalk outside a downtown office building, talking to a man named Richard. One look at her and you can tell she's had a rough night, still wearing last night's choices, a little worse for wear. But laughing it off with the kind of energy only the truly carefree can pull off. She's hungover, she's tired, and all she wants is to go home and sleep before class the next day. But Richard has other plans. He needs a favor. Just one small favor, before he'll let her walk away. The two of them banter back and forth, Richard working his charm, trying to seal a deal. "It's simple," he says. "Just take this package inside." That's it. He's been showing up at this building too many times in the past week, and another visit from him would raise too many red flags. And honestly, Richard and this whole situation are already setting off every alarm imaginable. Lucy hesitates. She wants out. And somewhere beneath that carefree smile, you can feel it, she knows something isn't right. But Richard doesn't stop pushing. He doesn't ask anymore. Instead, he snaps a briefcase shut, around her wrist, handcuffed directly to her arm. Lucy is terrified. She is furious. But she has no choice. She has to walk into that building and deliver the briefcase to a man named Mr. Jang, without knowing what's inside. Her voice breaks as she pleads, "Take this off me. Right now." But no one is listening. She steps into the front lobby. There's an immediate problem. She's in Taiwan, and the language barrier between her English and Taiwanese makes everything harder. They ask for her name. She tries to stay vague, says only that Richard sent her to deliver a package. But they push, and she finally gives in. Her name is Lucy. That's all it takes. Guards pour out from every direction, grabbing her, surrounding her. She's in full panic, and then she sees it. Through the glass, Richard is shot dead on the sidewalk. Blood sprays across the window. Lucy screams. She's dragged upstairs and forced into a seat, surrounded by armed men on all sides. Then Mr. Jang makes his entrance, stepping out from a room filled with dead bodies as casually as if he'd just finished a board meeting. Lucy has not missed that detail. She is begging for her life before he even sits down. They can't understand each other, so a translator is brought in. Through him, Mr. Jang instructs Lucy to open the briefcase using a code she's already been given. The room clears. With shaking hands and the absolute certainty that she is about to die, Lucy opens it. She doesn't die. Instead, she finds 4 large bags filled with brilliant blue rocks drugs. A junkie is brought in to test the product. He reacts, goes a little wild, but survives, and is promptly shot for his cooperation. Lucy is convinced she's next. Instead, Mr. Jang offers her a job. She doesn't even get a chance to respond. She's knocked out cold. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, we meet Professor Norman, a distinguished academic delivering a captivating lecture on human cerebral capacity. He's measured, brilliant, and completely in command of the room. His thesis is striking. The average human being operates at just 10% of their brain's full potential. A rare few have pushed slightly beyond that, but not by much. Dolphins, he notes, have reached 20%, and that's precisely how they developed sonar. He has spent his entire life devoted to understanding the mysteries locked inside the human mind. Lucy wakes up in agony. Her stomach is bandaged. There are surgical marks across her abdomen. The bloody gauze tells her everything she needs to know. Her body has been used. She's a drug mule now. She can barely piece together what's happened when armed guards march her down to the lobby, where a well-dressed Englishman is already mid-briefing, speaking quickly and without a trace of emotion. He explains it plainly. Lucy and several other kidnapped individuals will each be sent to different countries with drug packages surgically implanted in their bodies. Upon arrival, the drugs will be removed. Simple as that. He delivers this information like he's going over a travel itinerary. No one offered coffee. Every single one of them is warned, clearly, coldly, that their families will be killed if they deviate from the plan in any way. The man is utterly out of place in this world, which somehow makes him all the more terrifying. Lucy is stammering, barely processing what she's hearing. Mr. Jang hands her a drink. She swallows it. And the lights go out. Back in the lecture hall, Professor Norman continues his exploration of the human mind. He explains that we reproduce not merely for survival, but to pass down accumulated knowledge, generation after generation, each one building on the last. It is, he argues, a divine inheritance, an endless chain of human progress. Lucy wakes up again, this time in a cold, bare concrete room. A man is standing over her, impatient and volatile. He wants the drugs. Lucy doesn't understand what he wants, and she doesn't comply. So he beats her, kicks her, and leaves her on the floor. But that brutal act has triggered something catastrophic inside her body. The drug bag has ruptured. CPH4, whatever it is flooding her system at an alarming rate. Her nerves ignite. Her cells erupt. Neurons fire in rapid, chaotic bursts as her body desperately tries to process an overload it was never built to handle. She claws at the walls. She writhes on the ceiling. Her body is burning from the inside out. And then her eyes shift, turning a deep, vivid shade of blue. The exact same blue as the rocks. Back in the lecture hall, Professor Norman makes a point of stating that no human being has ever reached 20% of brain capacity. But as we watch Lucy convulsing in that concrete room, it becomes very clear she just did. At 40%, the professor explains, a human would have complete control over the physical world around them. Telekinesis. Heightened perception. Abilities that currently exist only in science fiction. But reaching that level isn't humanly possible, he says. No one can control matter. There's no way to even study the theoretical science behind it, because it simply isn't a reality. But then a student raises their hand and asks, what if we did reach 100%? The professor pauses. I have no idea. Lucy has gone still. She sits in that room in total silence, not out of fear, but out of something far more profound. She is feeling herself in a way no human ever has. Something has awakened inside her that shouldn't be possible. When the man comes back, she's ready. She dismantles him, and every guard between her and the exit, with terrifying efficiency. She escapes into the city. And now she can feel everything. Every sound. Every movement. Every language spoken around her suddenly makes sense. Her mind is expanding faster than her body can keep up with. She finds her way to a hospital surgical suite, where she quickly assesses a dying patient, makes a rapid and ruthless decision, and then turns her focus to herself, insisting the surgical team remove the drug bag still inside her. They comply. They don't have much of a choice. While she's on the operating table, she calls her mother. It's a devastating scene. Lucy tells her mom she can feel everything, every sensation, every memory, all the way back to the moment she was born. She can sense the gravitational pull of the earth, the texture of air itself. She's crying, and somewhere beneath the wonder in her voice is the unmistakable sound of a goodbye. Mom, I feel everything. Her mother doesn't understand. And that's what makes it so heartbreaking, because we do. This is not the Lucy we met at the beginning of this film. That Lucy was reckless and warm and alive in a very human way. She came to Taiwan for school. She called home. She loved her mom. And now she is becoming something else entirely, something she can't even find the words to explain. When the surgeon removes the bag, he immediately recognizes what it is. CPH4. A synthetic version of a hormone that the human body naturally produces during the 6th week of pregnancy. Designed to give a developing fetus everything it needs to grow. Limbs. Movement. Life itself. In natural quantities, it is extraordinary. In the concentration now coursing through Lucy's veins, it is the equivalent of an atomic bomb of pure energy and information. They had been trying to recreate it. And apparently, they succeeded. Lucy knows exactly what this means. It's running through her now, unlocking her further with every passing second. And she also knows she doesn't have much time. She will embrace this fully, or not at all. She chooses to embrace it. Lucy returns to the scene of her captivity. She moves through the high-rise office building like a force of nature, eliminating every obstacle on her way to Mr. Jiang. When she finds him, she drives the point home, literally stabbing his hands to the table, and then reaches into his mind, extracting the information she needs, the locations of the other drug packages being transported around the world. She needs all of it. Every last bag. Because this isn't about revenge anymore, it's about completion. She has a mission now, and she is running out of time. She returns to her apartment briefly, gives her roommate a rapid-fire medical consultation, and immediately begins devouring every piece of research ever published by Professor Norman, processing it at a speed no human mind should be capable of. Then she picks up the phone and calls him directly. The professor is skeptical, to put it mildly. But then Lucy appears, simultaneously on his TV, his phone, and his laptop. Her image flickering across every screen at once. She is everywhere. She is beyond him. He is astonished, speechless, completely transfixed. Lucy wants answers. What should she do with this? What does it mean? The professor tells her simply, We are here to progress, and then to pass on what we've learned. Pass it on, he says. They make a plan to meet. First, Lucy has to retrieve the remaining drugs. And to do that, she has to fly coach, just like everyone else. She transforms her appearance on the spot and boards the flight without drawing suspicion. By now she's at 30% capacity, and she's already reached out to a lead police officer named Pierre, explaining the situation and directing him toward the men carrying the drugs. Pierre is completely lost, but he listens. On the plane, she works furiously. By 40%, her mind is beginning to override her body entirely. Her impatience is overwhelming. Her teeth are even beginning to loosen, her physical form struggling to contain what her brain is becoming. She reaches into the bag of CPH4 she'd had removed and inhales it, consuming it like it's the only thing keeping her alive. Because it is. She dissolves into particles and disappears. While Lucy was airborne, Pierre's team successfully tracked down and captured all the carriers. They're brought to a hospital for drug removal. When Lucy reemerges, now at 50%, she tears through the hospital staff, finds Pierre, and gives him a choice: help willingly, or she'll take what she needs anyway. She's not aggressive about it. She's not emotional at all. That's what's unsettling. Whatever fear or anxiety or warmth Lucy once carried has been replaced by pure, cold clarity. There is no more unknown for her, and the unknown is the only thing that ever truly frightened any of us. Pierre agrees. He's smart enough to see that she means no harm. But the situation is closing in. Mr. Zhang and his crew are tracking the drugs and tracking Lucy. He wants her dead. The chase that follows is fierce and fast, but when Zhang's henchmen reach the hospital and try to secure the drugs, Lucy is already there. She is past 60% now. She doesn't fight them. She simply moves them with her mind, lifting guns out of hands, floating men through the air as if they weigh nothing. The attack bounces off her like rain off glass. She collects the remaining drugs and walks out the door. She pauses briefly to kiss Pierre. But it isn't really a kiss, not the way it used to be. It's a gesture. A thank you. A remnant of the human she used to be. Pierre follows. He still doesn't understand. But he trusts her. Mr. Zhang spots them leaving the hospital and follows. By the time Lucy and Pierre reach the university campus where Professor Norman has gathered his colleagues, the entire building is being circled. The professors inside are ready, Norman has briefed them all, and the questions begin immediately. Lucy answers everything, calmly and completely, her mind now operating at 60% and climbing. Outside, Taiwanese gang members and police are locked in an all-out firefight in the hallways, buying Lucy the time she needs. She tells the professors what she now understands about the human mind, that we have taken the vastness of all knowledge and compressed it down into something small enough to survive. We condensed the infinite into the manageable, not because we chose to, but because we had to. Because the alternative was madness. And then she says something that stops everyone cold. Time is the only proof of our existence. Without time, we don't exist. She will need the rest of the drugs, all of it. She's going to push herself to 100%, absorb everything, and build something that can hold it all. Something she can hand to Professor Norman before her body gives out completely. It's not a choice anymore. It's a duty. She says she'll build a new kind of computer, one that contains everything she knows. And she'll make sure he has the password. They hook up the IVs. The remaining drugs, now liquefied, are administered all at once. 80%. The hallway outside erupts, gunfire, chaos, bodies falling. 90%. Lucy begins to dissolve, not into sand this time, but into something darker, something alive. Black slime pours from her and floods into every electronic device in the room. She is building. She reaches outward, past the walls, past the campus, past the atmosphere, out to the farthest edges of the universe. She travels back through time, the 1800s, indigenous civilizations, barren prehistoric landscapes, the age of dinosaurs, and then further still. All the way back to the very beginning. She is complete calm inside the madness. She is the eye of the storm, the stillness at the center of everything. She will not stop until she touches the origin of life itself. The room fills with white light. The black slime forms a vast, pulsing structure, a superhuman computer, born of one woman's mind. Professor Norman watches in stunned silence. This is what he has chased his entire career, and it is being handed to him. But outside the white space, in the real world, Mr. Jang raises a gun. He moves toward Lucy in slow motion, closing the distance. She doesn't see him. She is a billion years away. The gun goes off. Lucy is gone. Not dead, gone. One with everything. Everywhere and nowhere at once. Her clothes fall empty to the floor. Mr. Jang looks around the room, bewildered, searching for something he will never understand. Pierre shoots Mr. Jang. It's over. The professors stand in stunned silence, confused and yet, somehow not. They're smart enough to feel the weight of what just happened, even if they can't fully name it. Pierre looks around the room. Where is she? Where's Lucy? A hand, formed from black slime, reaches out and places a small disc into Professor Norman's palm. Everything Lucy ever learned. Everything she ever became. Compressed into something he can hold. And then she is gone. Completely. Finally. But also, everywhere. This Earth was entrusted to us a billion years ago. And the question this film quietly, relentlessly asks is, what have we done with it? What will we do with it now that we have access to more knowledge than any generation before us? So here's the real question. If you could unlock more of your own mind, how far would you go? Would you use that power to build something? To heal something? Or would the temptation to control be too strong to resist? This movie leaves us with so many philosophical threads worth pulling. Sit with it. Think on it. And I'll see you in the next one.